Hello and welcome to Speak Film and Enter, a podcast where we review and rank movies. I'm Nate.
And I'm Adam.
Dylan is not joining us today. He has not seen the first episode of the brand new Disney Plus series from Marvel, Moon Knight. Which was just released this Wednesday. I think we've got this out the next morning, so it was released yesterday. If you're
March
watching
30th.
this on March 30th, if you're watching this right away or listening to us on the podcast. Very highly anticipated series, I would say. We haven't had one from Marvel since Hawkeye.
And that was around December.
That was in December. It was very Christmas themed.
Christmas themed, yep.
But also, I think, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think this is the first live action series from them with a brand new character.
Yeah, because Falcon and Winter Soldier carried over from obviously phase, what was that, 3, 2, whatever. After Endgame.
Same with WandaVision, same with
Loki,
and Hawkeye. So
yeah,
this is fun. It's the first, everybody got really excited for Shang-Chi and Eternals last year because it was kind of a step forward. And now we've got our first series with a step forward. And do you want to tell people what Moon Knight is about?
Yeah. A former U.S. Marine struggling with dissociative identity disorder is granted the powers of an Egyptian moon god, but he soon finds out that these newfound powers can be both a blessing and a curse to his troubled life.
Aren't they always?
They always are. I mean, with great power comes great responsibility, I've been told. So
right. It's never just, here's this gift, have fun. There's always there's always a catch, whether, you wake up in the middle of a field 2 days later, not knowing how you got there, or something else.
Or you have to chain yourself to your bed every night because you're afraid you're going to sleepwalk.
Yeah. Really quick before we continue, I wanted to remind people, if you subscribe to the podcast or the YouTube channel, like the video, hit the bell, as Adam just pantomimed there.
I tried to do.
Yeah. All that jazz. It helps the channel grow. We really appreciate it. And then really quickly too, this is a first for our show, where we experimented with reviewing full seasons of miniseries a little bit last November with Midnight Mass and Squid Game.
Squid Game, yep.
We did both of those. Those are still just podcast version only, but you can check out the audio versions of those on the podcast if you're interested. But this is the first time we're reviewing a show, a weekly show, just episode by episode. So this will be a spoiler review. The intent of this is to kind of watch along with us, or we watch along with you, however you want to think about it. But this is for, if you've watched the episode, you've got some thoughts on it or want to hear our thoughts, come check it out. These shouldn't be too long because the episodes are just, 40 minutes or so. We don't need to do a full deep dive in like we do with a movie. But it's the first time we're trying this out. And it's 6 episodes for Moon Knight, so I think this will be a very palatable and easily manageable experiment.
It'll be fun to do. I mean, I don't always watch shows as they come out anymore. A lot of people like to binge their content, and I think there's something that got lost in that format of watching a show week to week and having to wait and try to come up with theories and figure stuff out as you go. I think the last series I did this with was Westworld on HBO, season 1. So follow on Reddit and see all the theories that were popping up and see how things were going was super exciting. So I'm excited to do it for a new Marvel show.
Yeah, I do like this. I've been doing it recently with, I've been keeping up with the new HBO series Winning Time about the Lakers, which has been fun. But I didn't even do this for a lot of the last Marvel shows, where I waited and watched all of Hawkeye in like a couple sittings over a weekend.
2 days
or
something.
All out. I missed the first like 3 episodes of WandaVision and then kind of caught up and then kept going. And that one was really fun because that had a bit of like a what is happening here.
Yeah, and that one starts slow, so it's kind of nice to fly through the first couple, keep your interest, and then once things start really kicking off to really get into it.
See, the first half of WandaVision was actually, I preferred that because it was so strange, which is what I like about Moon Knight here, where it, at least for this first episode, we don't know where it's going. It's different. It doesn't feel like we're just diving right into a known, established, like tried and true superhero show, to me at least.
Yeah. So before we get too far into that, we have a new graphic for everyone.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So we were just going to start with
spend minutes making these, so we better use them.
Yeah, so we thought it would be fun. Here is what we thought worked the best about Moon Knight.
Yes.
So
So we'll try to stick to roughly the same general talking
Format.
points as we have for our movie reviews. We don't want to try too much new stuff too soon all at once.
Yeah.
So we're already experimenting with a weekly show. Let's leave it at that for now.
Yeah. So what works? Like you were saying, it really drops us in and forces you. I mean, it gets going pretty quickly, and I think the beginning when he's chained to the bed right away. That's the first thing you see is kind of okay. So I know it's about him being Moon Knight. Obviously, that's nighttime stuff. Where's this going to get to? How did he get here? Does he already have his powers? All that kind of questions, and then you learn as he goes. What's happening, and he's just getting into it as well. I like that it's picking up right as he's kind of figuring things out. We don't really need to know too much about who he is or his life before that. It's very well explained in a short amount of time.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I like that we're on the ground level with him. He doesn't know, so we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And it adds to some confusion and just kind of some mystery as to really what's happening here. And we don't really get much for answers in this episode. But one thing I found really interesting was that the first two scenes kind of focus on our two main characters' feet, which I don't really know the reason for that yet. Maybe some kind of metaphor. Maybe it's just a coincidence. I struggle to think it's just a coincidence, but like
Same.
The Ethan Hawke glass in the shoes was strange. And then Oscar Isaac chained to the bed. I did wonder too if maybe Mike Birbiglia is watching this and thinks maybe I'll give this a try instead of sleeping in that smock like he always does.
His cocoon.
Yeah. Just chain yourself to the pillar in your bedroom.
Yeah, and put some tape on the inside of your door so you know if you opened it or not. And
right.
Lock yourself in, see what you can do.
Yeah, far easier than like this thing that you're zipped up in that your wife needs to help. Like, no way.
Yeah.
Chain yourself to the bed.
Yeah. I do like that this is going to feel like you're discovering the powers along with the character. It's going to feel like the viewer is being revealed. They're part of the mystery. They're part of or finding the solution. They're the detective that's going to help figure out his dual identities. Because I think a lot of the other, not necessarily shows, but some of the movies, they're just like, all right, well, here's Thor and he's the god of thunder. So he does this. And it's like, this is going to be more of I think an exploration on like, what can he do? What is he capable of? And we saw that in the cupcake truck chase scene of what is he actually capable of? Murder, straight up murder. We haven't seen a Marvel movie or Marvel show or anything do that yet. And just straight up, that guy is dead. He was crushed by a log, or like he shot somebody. You woke up, you didn't see it, but you presume that all of those people are dead.
Yeah. I think this definitely falls into what works for me, and it's all kind of, it might feel like a couple different things, but I think they're all connected. Oscar Isaac, I think, is great in this first episode.
I think he's one of the
I think he's one of the best actors in the world, and I like that he's kind of going to get a larger audience. I mean, he did a little bit in Dune, but ever since
Star Wars,
ever since like Inside Llewyn Davis and Ex Machina, I've just been like, this guy's amazing. And it's bummed me out that he's kind of only been like these one-dimensional guys in like Star Wars, or like his character was better in Dune, but
he's just too damn good looking for him to get cast as anything else. Like, well, you're beautiful, so you can be the hero.
Right, that's true. But I think it's cool that we get Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke in this, because they're kind of two of the like last remaining indie stars that haven't gone to Marvel yet.
Yeah.
And that adds to what I think we're going to get is, I believe Marvel has said this is not connected to anything else.
Really? I haven't read anything about this, so I don't know. And that's interesting to see how this will play.
We're only going to get one season of this. I think this is just going to be a mini series. I could be wrong about that. But I think with those limitations to it, or just kind of saying like, here's a one-off thing, that's it, I think that allows you to get somebody like Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke, where it's just kind of this one thing. They're not signing these like 4 shows and deals. 7 movie contracts.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to allow it to be weirder.
Yeah.
Which I am all for, because as much as I enjoyed like Hawkeye and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they're just exactly what you'd think. And
Yeah,
it's,
they're a
you know, it's
continuation of those character stories,
right.
whereas
But
WandaVision's a
comfort
little bit
viewing, it's
different.
formulaic superhero
Mhm.
stuff at this point, especially from Marvel. We know what we're getting with those. And that's why WandaVision stuck out to so many people and kind of was nominated for like more awards than you'd expect from like a Marvel series. And like Loki
Mhm.
really took off with the whole multiverse thing and
Yep.
that got really strange. And so I'm really hoping they just lean into the weirdness here because they've got two really, really good leading actors
Mhm.
and a show and like a character that not that many people have heard of or are familiar with at all.
You can tell a lot of stories.
Right. That's just not going to be connected to anything else. You don't have to worry about like tonal overlap or anything like
Yeah.
that. Like, let's just be weird and embrace this.
Agreed.
All about it.
So I'm going to move quickly to our what doesn't work,
Yes.
which we love
What
here as Paddington Bear.
what angered Paddington in this
Yeah, what
episode?
angered Paddington about this? I don't know that I have a whole lot of negative things to say at the moment, but I will say I think the Ethan Hawke casting is a little strange because I mean, I like Ethan Hawke. I haven't seen him in a ton of stuff recently. I know you guys watched him in what was the Priest movie he was in like 2 years
First
ago?
Reformed.
First Reformed, which I
I
still
was
haven't
gonna say,
gotten
you
to.
haven't seen First Reformed yet.
Which I'll be able to do. Oh, this is a perfect casting, I'm sure.
Yeah, right.
But he's just such a strange guy, and I think his whole look in the first episode is like the long, like my length hair that's gray and just kind of like it doesn't really move. It just kind of stays put, but it looks very thin. He just looks so like sallow and just strange. I don't know. He's not my favorite. I think it's just especially going opposite like how beautiful Oscar Isaac is. Then you have like this weird,
Yeah.
like kind of gross, kind of old, but kind of not Ethan Hawke. It's just kind of a strange thing, but I know he's a great actor. So I'm waiting to see how it's going to fit. And I'm excited for that. But I think the first time I went, oh, that's not who I would have picked as like the bad guy. So we'll see how it goes.
I'm excited for it because it is seemingly so against type for him. And he is so good that I'm very curious to see how he plays a villain.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest one for me really is just I wouldn't say it like doesn't work, but because of the nature of how they're introducing us to this world and like Oscar Isaac's character doesn't know what's going on and neither do we. It like we definitely weren't able to find our footing in this episode at all.
Yeah.
And that's not really a bad thing, but it does leave it to a point where it didn't hook me yet. Like I'm hooked.
Oh, really?
That may be the wrong way to put it.
I know what you mean.
I am because I've seen other Marvel things and I'm excited for this to be different and it looks different, but I haven't had that moment yet where I'm just like, oh, this is going to be good.
Yeah. If you're not super paying attention, you might, maybe you're scrolling your phone or something during this. You might go, what is happening? I'm not interested.
Right. Yeah.
Until like the action scene towards the end starts to happen. And then you might go, oh, okay, I'll put my phone down. But then you've missed basically all the setup we're going to get because it's only 6 episodes.
And that's kind of the thing too, is like we get to the end of the first episode, we finally see Moon Knight for the first time, even though we haven't really seen him do anything yet.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But I guess I wanted like slightly more. I would have liked to see him just destroy that creature in the last scene.
Yeah.
And get a little bit of like, okay, here we go. Because it didn't have that like momentum creating feeling at the end of it that I thought I was going to get. And I think I would have gotten that if they had shown me like what Moon Knight's capable of doing.
Yeah.
But clearly they're holding that off for another episode. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, again, not too much negative to say. So I think we'll just move to one of my favorite pictures you've pointed out or you've picked for today. We're going to go with performances. And I want to take a second to linger here and just drink this photo in. So much going on.
Yeah.
Performances. Oscar Isaac, I think, did a great job. Like I said, the accent threw me. I didn't know that he was going to be doing a British accent.
I did read about that before, and I think it was kind of his idea from just like I just glanced at a couple headlines, so I could be very wrong about this, but I think he's great. I think Ethan Hawke is good for the small amount he's in there. I like kind of the calmer way that he's playing this villain. It makes him seem a little more like he's got this extra level to him, and it seems scary.
Yeah, he's more he's thought about it. It's planned.
Yeah, he's very in control, and I love Oscar Isaac's accent and kind of the frenetic nature of like his characters not knowing what's happening. I thought he did a great job. They're really the only two who are much of anything in the first episode, so I don't think we need to talk about anybody else, but I thought they were both great.
Yeah, I like when he yelled at his boss telling him to do inventory. He's like, just fucking wait. Like, it's like, just calm down. I thought that was funny. It was a highlight for me. So I guess we'll move to the next category. Who is this for? And best Seth Rogen.
We'll try to provide more clarity than Seth Rogen here.
Yeah, it's not just for stoners, based on that picture.
Right.
I think this is gonna be for, I would say, a lot of typical Marvel fans, and I would say because most people have grown up. If you started watching Marvel when you were 6-7 years old and you started with Iron Man, and you're now, I mean, it's been 15 years, so you're now 18, 20, 25, somewhere in there. I think you'll like this, but this is not going to be for kids from what I can tell at the moment, based on that shooting scene, that the straight up deaths that they had. I would cap that at, like, I'd probably say this TV-14, maybe TVMA.
I wouldn't say TVMA, but I think TV-14 sounds about right.
So
I think anybody who likes Marvel is at least going to check this out. It's been a couple months since they gave us something new. We're fiending here.
Feed me.
Yeah. I am curious though. I know certain people who are just want Marvel to kind of stick to the formula. For those people, they kind of put WandaVision as their least liked of the 4 series so far. And for someone like me who likes to see them branch out and try some new weird shit from time to time, WandaVision is my favorite one. I think if you don't love Marvel stuff generally, but you really liked WandaVision and you're kind of I watched like Hawkeye and stuff, and it was fine, but WandaVision was cool because it was different. I think this is going to be more up your alley than if you were not super into WandaVision.
I think so too.
That's also just one episode in, so who knows?
Yeah, we'll see if it really branches out or really, I mean, we'll see what the explanation for the dual personality stuff is. Obviously I haven't read the comics, so I'm not gonna pretend I know anything.
Not
and I think reading
Moon Knight at all. I'd heard of him, but that's it.
Yeah. And I think if you had read them and are watching this going, well, you're so misinformed, there's so much that you don't know. It's like, well, that's kind of the point. So
it is, yeah.
So
let's peel it back layer by layer.
Yeah. So I think when we get more information, it'll be interesting to see how well it truly does follow a formula or how well it does really go off the rails. I'm kind of excited to see where we land on that spectrum. So, all right. That's really the last thing I had to say. Do you have anything to wrap up this first episode?
No.
All right.
That's it.
Sounds good.
Back next week for episode 2.
Yeah, next week, I believe that's next Wednesday is April 6th. So we'll see you probably April 7th for the next review of episode 2. So from Speak, Film, and Enter, I'm Adam, and that's Nate. See you later.